plenty of things, me too. Was outside playing on swings, came back in cause it was cold to grab me a sweater, saw your picture on the dresser and had to write a letter. You and mommy had some problems, this I see. Sometimes I think you left just because of me. I hope you didn't. You and mommy starting to shout. Is there a chance that you can work things out? Cause if you do, I turn to sports and no cartoons. Get up early and dad'll even clean my room. Life's hard and everybody's got their ways. I study daily and promise I can get straight A's. Go to church every Sunday and won't make noise. Christmas time, save your money. I don't need toys. Please come back, cause daddy, I don't wanna pretend. I just wanna be a family again.
D-A-D-D-Y, I love you. There's no one else above you. Hate to show how much it hurts me. You try but still can't see me. D-A-D-D-Y, I love you. There's no one else above you. Never is to L-A-T-E. To show my L-O-V-E love.
Dear Daddy, I miss you. Been having issues. I finally got the nerve to pick up this pencil. Ever since you passed, I think about the last time I saw you, and it's clear than a crystal. It hurts my heart every time I think about it. Pen in my hand, just so hard to get this ink about it. So many things I wanna say to you, things I wanna do with you, but now I'm not able to. I got a studio, I'm signed to a label too. Daughter named Dakota and watermelon, her favorite fruit. A lot of nights I sat and prayed for you. I had to turn you away, even though I hated to. Yeah, mistakes, I done made a few. A whole lot of bull, I made it through. I always knew you were the man of praise. I know you looking down, smiling at the man you made.
D-A-D-D-Y, I love you. There's no one else above you. Hate to show how much it hurts me. You try but still can't see me. D-A-D-D-Y, I love you. There's no one else above you. Never is to L-A-T-E. To show my L-O-V-E love.
Dear Daddy, since the day Mama had me, saw your baggy, teary eyes looking at me. I was happy, features matching you exactly. All your friends call us twins, and assure us I'm your son. I'ma make the earth spin, whether fire, earth, wind. We a team, shirt, skins. Even though I love Mama, only men make men. I'ma follow the direction of your word to the letter. The example that you set up, only I'ma do it better. I'ma peep where you messed up, repeat all your best stuff. Keep it shot ink, so in peace you can rest up. Everyone that come around my mama gon' respect her. That's what you taught me, I was born to protect her. I learned a lot of lessons and there's still a lot of questions. It's like a new message get revealed every session. I count it as a blessing that my father has a presence, a man of the essence of the Father that's in heaven.
D-A-D-D-Y, I love you. There's no one else above you. Hate to show how much it hurts me. You try but still can't see me. D-A-D-D-Y, I love you. There's no one else above you. Never is to L-A-T-E. To show my L-O-V-E love.
Camera about to go hot. All right, welcome to the Unity by Default show. I am one half of your host team, DOCILL, and this is
Lady T, a.k.a.
Pinky.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Come on, y'all. Share the link. Share the link. We are live on YouTube.
Man, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes,
What
sir.
it's
Hit
going
that
to be like.
notification bell right now. So you can always stay in tune with what UBD have going on every Sunday right here. Every Sunday. You're live with us, and we are live on YouTube. So that means that millions of people get to see you. All leave a comment, your concerns. We keep it raw, real, and definitely respectful. All right. Call-in number is definitely going to be 708-8
trying to see. There we go.
Okay.
Now I can see that. I can see it registering because
Alright.
it wasn't registering loud enough.
All right.
All right.
Make
now
sure
that-
y'all like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so y'all can stay in tune with UBD family.
Again, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Our YouTube channel is hot. We are going live only from YouTube. So hopefully everyone in Facebook land got the notification and we'll be jumping over. So we'll kind of wait a few minutes and see if we have anybody jump into the conversation because it should show us hot and live right now. And we are. Yep.
You are on YouTube where millions get to view your comments, all right, your concerns. You'll be able to call in 708-844-8429. Call in, give a shout out to your daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your father, you know, the one that you love so much for standing up to be this awesome man in your life first. All right. So,
what do you think about Father? What does Father's Day mean to you, Tina?
well, Father's Day is so huge because especially when you want to know about balance in the family, take two. You need both. You know, you need that masculine and female, that masculine and feminine energy. But you know, from what I was brought up with, you know, to have that strong foundation, there's one that, you know, it just seemed to bring that strength into the family. You know, women are strong, but there's a different type of strength that a man has over a woman. You know, so, you know, just to me, I look at a man as being a provider, enforcer, protector, and as major in a relationship, major in a household, major to see. You know, that strong power. You know, when you see him, you be like, you can mess with my family. You know, and that was the first thing that I noticed. But it's so many aspects to fatherhood from my standpoint, but the strength is the main component when it comes to that.
Yeah, man. I hate to go here, but I got to do it.
There you go.
Because I saw something that kind of disturbed me a little bit.
Okay.
I saw a card that was basically for the modern family, where you got the stud in a relationship because you got you got two sets of X chromosomes, but one of them is referring to themselves as a he. And now they're making Father's Day cards for women who identify as men. What are your thoughts about that? Being a woman?
You know, getting a Father's Day card.
Yeah, a Father's Day card
that
is
was
something
a
other
foolery.
than a father.
Yeah, that's foolery, in my opinion. You know, women are strong, but they're not. This is different type of strength. You know, and to even print a card like that, and it came from people feedback. Now, this year is the first year that I have not seen that many doing that now. This is a first year, because usually I would get a text saying Happy Father's Day. I'd be like, oh no, don't text me that. So people
Really?
not buying into it, and so this is the first year that I have not seen Happy Father's Day to the mothers who are strong. That was who raised the children by herself. So they did pick that as that. So this year was the first year that I have not seen that. So I guess they got on to that, because they actually had cards printed out for that. So I'm so glad not to see that continuing on. Yeah,
Man,
so
that
was
is
interesting.
Wow. For me, that is bogus.
But it was to all the single mothers, you know what I'm saying? So I guess they thought they was doing something by that, but that got bust down right away. And I'm kind of glad it happened, because it is a differentiation between, you know, a mother's strength and a father's strength. It's different. I'm sorry. So I don't even see how it can even be compared.
The single mother still needed the male sperm in order to create that child.
Absolutely.
Bottom line, no matter what you do, no matter what you say,
Mm-hmm.
it is said that you can never, no matter what you do in life, no matter how much a child gets mad at you because they said that you didn't do this or that for them, they can never repay you for life.
That's true.
As a parent. So be good, bad, or indifferent, whether you were there or you weren't there. There is a value on life that is unmatched.
Very, very unmatched, you know.
That's why it says respect thy parents.
And it says that in your Bible, you
Yep.
know, may your days be longer. Both parents, not just one,
That's
both.
it.
And it don't give no stipulations, you know, about you having the right to disrespect your parents.
She didn't
You
buy me
know?
no G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip.
You know, even now your dad may not be as great, your mom may not be as great, but disrespect is not tolerated on no levels.
down.
Because whether you get some or not, and no matter how they were, you know, it still don't give you the right to be disrespectful. And that's one of the things that I loved about my mother. No matter what, she always said, you're going to respect that man. And she always, you know, backed that up with, you know, that verse in the Bible about always respect your parents, that your days might be longer. And then I'm going to tell you, when you disrespect your parents, you know, and I saw a post earlier today where somebody said, you disrespect your parents, watch bad stuff will happen. And that's true. That is so true. Nothing will go right for you. So go back and apologize and say, I'm sorry, so things can go right back in your life. That's all you got to do. And say, you know, I was out of my mind. I thought I had the right to do that. You can express how you feel, but it's how you say what you say. It's the things, it's how you do what you do that makes it more importantly. So we want to say shout out to everyone, you know, all types of fathers, whether you're a stepfather, whether you're a coach, any type of father figure. Uncles have stepped up. How about that? You know, uncle.
Oh yeah,
You know?
And that's the whole thing. With,
Grandfathers,
you know,
elders, you know, so many.
Hmm.
But you being an uncle, I mean, what aspect have you played, or what role, you know, what positive role model have you displayed when it comes to your nephews and nieces, you know,
Man,
how they view you?
No, I've been a disciplinarian. I step in and man, I remember I had to go to the school and put hands on my nephew. This is years ago when it was still, you know, allowed. Because he got out of line and he disrespected the teacher in front of my face. So I went on ahead and gave him a 2-piece with cheese. And after that, man, there wasn't no more trouble from him though.
See what I'm saying?
He's
So how did he feel
upstanding.
about that till this day? Now, what he
He called me a couple of years ago and said, you remember when you came to the school and beat me up? I'm like, yeah, you was
said it
out of
like
pocket.
that?
Yeah, he said it just like that. Those was his exact words, but we was laughing about it because he was wrong. And man, I put him, you know, I did what needed to be done because that father figure wasn't there to check him like he needed to be checked.
Wow.
He was in like the 8th grade. I'm like, he was, you know, he's feeling himself, so felt some of these.
He said, "Yeah, I'm telling him, Duke."
Like my man John Witherspoon said in Friday, he said, the problem is y'all sissified. You're scared to take an ass whooping. He said you had these and these. Wasn't no guns. Hey, but it's all love. I mean, that's, you know, hey, dude doing this thing right now, too. I would like to think that I played a great role in the development of my nephew because he's doing exceptionally well right now.
All right.
Exceptionally well.
That is awesome to hear.
Plus, it's almost cancer season, and he's a cancer, so you know already what time it is. Because when we hit the 21st, well, I think it's the 22nd of this month,
Right.
then
Cancer's
cancer's
coming
taking over.
Cancels.
Calves coming out of our shell.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So, you know, everybody call their dads different, like pops. You know, what you prefer? What do you call your dad? You say daddy, you say dad, you say pops. You know, and any man getting called by their first name, how do you feel about
Father.
it? That disrespectful, you know?
Father, may I have a slice of chocolate cake?
Poppy, Padre, you know, all kinds of names. So I thought that was interesting to know the different types of, you know, different names that men use. You know, Paul, you know, and it's amazing how they know, you know, which is which.
Usually when I
You
hear
know.
the term paw are you really talking about grandfather?
That's why I said what you call your
Yeah.
granddad. Your granddad like a father, you know what I'm saying? And they just as important in the life, you know. Like especially when you got that generational, you know, discipline or generational wisdom going down. You know, I'm teaching you what my pops taught me. You know, so you got to you know, Paw, you got your father, you got your son, and it can keep going. So
In today's society, when the father figure, the immediate father figure is missing, usually you have a grandfather stepping in, and then he's playing that role in the absence of his son, and he's usually pissed off at his son
oh
too.
yeah.
He's usually very
He
pissed
pissed
at
off
his
at his son, or
yeah,
he pissed off at the daughter for choosing, you know.
right. Because he looks at where he may have made a mistake or something, and you know what Brian say.
I want to give a big shout out to my big cousin. What's up?
What's
you?
up, Brian McGee? What's up? What's up, my big little cousin? Well, that joke is cock strong too.
Is he really?
Yes, man. I'm telling you.
Is
boy.
he a father?
Yeah, he's a father.
Happy Father's Day
He
to
got
you.
3 sons.
Wow.
Yep, 3 sons.
That's what's up. What it's like. 3 boys. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
man.
What are their ages? Wow, that's interesting.
Now, I don't know their ages. He know how to
Okay.
tell you that in the comments, but
Mhm.
he's on here.
You would
He
like to
said he
give
gonna
your
show up.
input on Father's Day? 708-844-8429. If you want to call in and give a, you know.
But his father, man, you know, I came up in the South under his father,
Okay.
and his father was like a father figure while
Okay.
my father was up here.
Oh.
His father, strong man.
Really?
Yeah, Willie McGee. Man,
Uh-oh.
Willie McGee wasn't no joke. Air Force, he was an Air Force veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And then his father, you know, owned a trucking company. I was working for them at the Pupwood company down in Columbus, Georgia. That's the work that'll make a man out of you right there. If you talk to any dudes that's from the South, when they tell you about the hardest job on the planet,
You're right.
pulpwood.
But
If you got
what is
a
that?
man that used to pulp wood,
What is that?
that's logging.
Okay.
I did
Is
that.
it like chopping wood or something?
It's more than chopping wood, man. It's stacking them logs, it's cutting them logs, it's man, trimming them trees, the whole nine. And
Okay.
then man, we was getting paid. I was getting paid $15 a load. You got this big
Okay.
truck of wood.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, that was a job. That's a job that'll make a man out of you.
Wow.
If you tell me you used to pulp wood, I got a whole different level of respect for you. Because man, a pulp wooder, that's a real man. That's a man's man right there.
That's what's up. Yeah, Father's Day is very special. We need to change the narrative because they don't get as much respect as women as Mother's Day, and I think they should. That's why we
Yeah,
want to
we get
give
played.
what. That's why we want to change it by making it a positive broadcast about fathers. Because even using statistics from Kevin
Samuels, right.
He's saying it's 51% of fathers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
51.4%.
That's
I
pretty huge.
always
That's
like
more
putting
than
that
half.
4. I always put that
That's
point
more
4.
than half who doesn't have kids, so they stepfathering somebody's child, right?
Yeah, usually, if they're in a relationship, and usually it's hard to find a woman that doesn't have children already in a relationship. So they're stepping in, playing the roles of stepfather, just because, I mean, that's what you do. You step in and you fulfill that role. But there are so many boundaries when it comes to that.
Yeah, and that depends on the mother of the child.
There you go. Because, man, people don't want you saying nothing to their children. It's funny how...
And the father don't want you saying, especially if you got a father that step up, he definitely not having it. But, mothers do have that, don't do anything to my child. But I'm like, if he taking care of your child or your children, he should have some rights, just as if he was the biological father. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, if he stepped in and taken over that role in the absence of the father, because there are a lot of fathers that aren't with the mother that are very active in the lives of their children. That's one thing. And I think there's an understanding, because even with that, if you're an active father and you're in a relationship with somebody else and they have a kid, then you need to give the same respect that you're being given. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
So, man, you got to take that with a grain of salt. I would say there is an exception to the rule. There's always an exception to the rule. And I would think that one is when it comes down to the level of discipline that you would put on that child that's a part of this relationship. because if that father is actively involved, then I don't think it's necessary for you to go too far as the disciplinarian role when it comes to that. So that's a discussion that I think needs to be had early in a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, different people feel differently about it.
Yeah,
but
quite sure.
man, we got this really, really dope video, and you wanna kick it now or you wanna wait? Because we got a couple of videos that we're gonna throw up there.
Yeah, I think that and that I guess we could go into that video because it's so important. You know, first let's go here. What the day you found out, the day your lady, the woman in your life, found out she was pregnant, and the day you found out you was pregnant, she told you, "Ooh, guess what? I'm pregnant." Y'all saw the pregnancy test. Then y'all both found what was your feeling was like. You know, I'd like to know what was y'all feeling was like the day that you found out you was about to be a father. Did you step up? Did you be like, "Oh, I gotta get myself together"? You know, I'm about to be a dad. You know. I bet that was a tripped out feeling. Can you remember the day you found out that you was about to be a father? Some didn't find out till later, you know, that they didn't even know they had a kid.
Yeah,
you know,
some people found out on Maury Povich.
Yeah, some people found right. Some people, you know, so how you found out, and also, you know, the day your baby was born, what was that feeling like? Do you remember to that day? These are very special moments. And was you with the woman, the mother of your child, throughout the whole pregnancy? That's very special, and we don't realize that how special that is until you actually go through it. So what's your take on that, and can you remember that, and can you share that as well? All right, so
ooh, that's heavy because you know me, I'm the dude that watched Paternity Court, right? And I've seen dudes that went through that whole process and was there, cut the umbilical cord, signed the birth certificate, and then found out the kid wasn't theirs.
yeah, that's different. That's
like,
something going through you think this child is yours, got your last name and everything. And again, just like you hear these different memes about you know, women downing men all the time, but men are not on that Murray show. There's more women on that Murray show running off and acting crazy, talking about.
Yep.
You still don't know. It was one girl that she brought about 4 men on there, 5 men on there, and still it wasn't a baby father. That was her way of finding out, but still, you know, how many you had to go through in order to find out. So we don't have that kind of drama too much with men. It's only with the women. And so I think that we, as ladies, as mothers, as women, should be a little bit more respectful when it comes to knowing who your baby daddy is, the father of your children. And how y'all feel about that? Do y'all like the term "my baby daddy"?
Ooh,
or father of my children? There's some people like, don't you say that.
Dude made a song about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my baby daddy. That's just my baby daddy. I'm like, wow.
Yes, how do you
I
feel
thought
about
that was the most ghetto fabulous song ever written. But man, it was so real.
But this is huge. We about to play this next clip.
Which one you want to do first? You want to do one with the young lady where she talking about fatherhood and the importance of it?
Yeah, we can go there.
From Marriages Halal. Okay, let me pull up that clip real quick.
We can give y'all give us y'all take on this clip, and you know, her perspective and how you feel about it. Again, happy Father's Day to you all. You guys are just important as mothers. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute! I forgot about that one too. Good God.
That's why I thought we wanted to say that one.
Oh, you want to do that one? We can do it now.
Yeah, I mean, since we
we'll do that because I still got to find the other clip. Okay, this first clip, let me set this up because as a brother who's been in a few relationships, there have been, you know, you got people that try to put pressure on you to get married. But in this particular clip that we're about to play, a brother was getting pressure put on him to get married, and I think that's enough of a setup. Once they see this clip, then it's on and popping. So here we go.
When we get married?
Come on, don't start that again. What you mean when we get married?
What you mean when we get married? I want to get married.
You know how many baby daddies you got?
Yes, 5 and.
I'm not finna marry you. You got too many baby daddies for me. I told you.
What do they have to do? Oh, we can fuck around, but we can't get married.
No, I'm not finna. You got too many baby daddies. You think I want to marry you? You know how many men you been with? How many
4,
men look like I had her before
5.
me? What you mean?
That's
like,
not that many.
That's a lie. It's too many. I can't marry you. Like
That's not too many.
I can't marry you. Like you're. Come on. We can
That
fuck
don't
around,
make no
but
sense.
I can't marry you. Like seriously.
We can fuck
like,
around.
Yeah, we can fuck around. Like if you don't
So
want to,
how-
I can leave too.
You can leave. No, what you gonna do without me?
But you, all right, then. Like, don't bring up marriage.
Also, you really
then.
don't care about me
Don't
then.
bring up-
So you really don't. I'm good
I
enough to.
care about you,
I'm
but
good
I'm
enough
not
to.
gonna marry
I'm
you.
good enough to fuck on, but I'm not good enough to wife.
No, because you got too many baby daddies. I'm never.
Oh,
gonna marry-
wow.
I told you I'm not
I
gonna marry
did- so-
nobody that got 5
I
baby
thought you really
daddies.
loved
Like,
me.
One is more than enough. Like, come on, man, that's too many. Like,
I thought you really loved me. I really thought you did.
Listen, I care about you. I got feelings.
Man, now that was heavy.
Very heavy.
Did you hear the way that she defended that?
Yeah.
What do you think about his response, though? Do you think that was a fair response?
The response was very fair, but again, you know, it was very well. It's kind of well. It's in a proper perspective because he looking like, you know, he treated her like you just a sex toy. I mean, I'm just here.
He
for
said,
that.
"I care about you."
Yeah, but
he said,
I'm
"I do
still-
care about you." He said, "But you got too many baby daddies."
Yeah, too many baby daddies. But
He
he already
said-
about him saying he cares. Yeah, you can still care about somebody, respect them and love them, care about them. But as far as how your boundaries, how far you going with somebody, it's a totally different thing.
But he let it be known. He said, "Man," he said, "one is more than enough."
Yeah.
Because when dealing with the child or the children that you have, I got to deal with this other personality. You giving me 5 other personalities to deal with, one for each child?
That's right.
Like, man, man, that's heavy.
Yeah. And then the part that gets me the most with her by her saying that that's not that many. And I'm like, that's very concerning. You know, usually I think that as a mother and as a parent, even as a father as well, you know, obviously, you know, it will really bewilders me if she has a father and she has these many kids in her life. It really would. But as parents, you sit down with her and be like, listen, after you had one, be like, your next child, you really want to be with somebody. Your next child, you want to be married. You always just say you might get that one mistake. You really don't want none, but you might make that one mistake that you did something you had no business doing or whatever, and y'all didn't quite work out or whatever. Your next child should be with somebody you want to have the rest of your kids with, and somebody you want to marry, you know, to have the rest of your children with, you know. So to say that's not that many, and that's how I think that it's just a warped thinking that young women have today. You know, you even I saw a young lady on YouTube, and she was like, she got 7 baby daddies, and she said she gonna have 7 more. You know, and they think that this is something, I don't know what that is. I don't know what they think that is, because I think it's warped. You know, but you know, for a man to know this in the beginning, even with him dealing with somebody that had that many baby daddies, it's like, why would you deal with that? So I'm hearing, you know, some men would say, well, we at least we know you got some good stuff. I'm like, that's how you think? That's how you think?
Wow.
We know you got some good stuff because you got all them kids. So all you doing is being a depository for men planting something in you, and then he have to be careful. You know, why would you even plant anything in her knowing that she already got 5 baby daddies or 6 baby daddies, however many, and you just steadily doing it. So you got to ask your sons, like, what are you doing? This person. That's why a lot of women have problems. Like a lot of mothers have problems with women that their men date. I mean, that their sons date that have multiple kids. It kind of like don't take too well to that. And I hear a lot of women say, well, the mother never liked me because I had too many kids and this, that, and the other. And, you know, she was looking like, I never respect you because now what you going to do with my son? He has no kids. And you're not going to have my son take care of all of your children.
Now, see, man, I hate to say it, but what about the hypocrite in that one?
Mm-hmm.
The one that has the multiple children. Well, not necessarily a hypocrite. she could be trying to make you learn from her mistake. So when she said, because I've heard it before, said you can't date a person that's got, you know, that's got kids already. When she dated somebody and she had kids already. You see where I'm going?
Well, I see where she's going, but she's trying to let you know that at some point you got to stop. You know, at some point you got to break the cycle. At some point you got to break the, you know, as they call it, the curse, the generational curse. We got to stop the shenanigans. We got to stop recycling dysfunction. And so you can see why she may say, you know how this thing, because I do it don't mean you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, that don't mean that. You know, and a lot of people will use it. Well, you did it. Well, I'm trying to stop you from doing it. I'm going to try to see things in a different light than I did. You know, you're supposed to change it. You're supposed to change it. You're supposed to change the dysfunction. That's how I see it. You know, so a lot of times we bash the father, but sometimes we don't really sit back and think about the mistakes that we made as well. You know.
Well, I like to go to this next clip where the young lady is talking about the one we were talking about before we played that one. And she's talking about the responsibility of the roles of the father and the importance of the father in the child's life. So with that being said, let's go to this clip.
Men are better at raising children than women, and it's an unpopular fact. The truth is, children that grow up in a single father household or a household with both parents are more likely to succeed than children who grow up in a single mother household. So fathers are better at raising our children, and they need to be in the children's lives. Stop fighting with the dad, stop making problems for him to be around his kids. They literally need him to be better human beings.
And with that said, so let's do a little poll. Is that true? Are men better parents than women and than the mothers? You know, are they? You know, so we had to raise that poll there. Let's clarify first of all what a single parent is, because sometimes we put that right along relationship status. So let's clarify that real quick. Single parenting, say like you, I'm a single mother. You know, single mother or a single mother. I'm a single mother. You are a single, but you're not a single parent. As long as the father's there co-parenting with your child, you're not a single parent. You're just a single woman that has children. That's it. So let's get that clarified. But for those men who are single, parenting, meaning that their mother is not around, it could be something, or they could be a widow, or they could have full custody of their child, and the mother is not helping out, or she's not parenting with him, then you are a single parent. All right. And so there are a lot of men who out here that I know a few men that are single parents out here, and they actually doing a great job raising their children, whether they're a widow or whether they're a man who have full custody of their children. I think they're doing absolutely amazing, and I want to applaud that. But yeah, and I seen the differentiation between a single man raising a single father raising his children versus a single mother raising her children. I see the differentiation. First of all, I see order.
Okay.
I see order, like the mother have to tell the children so many times. Then I tell you do da 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 da, like constantly all day. When the father tell them to do stuff, it's done. Like, it's not too many times you have to repeat that. I've seen that and was like, that was very interesting. Like, they mean what they say. You know, and I hear a lot of single fathers. Single fathers who be like, I have a discussion with my children. I tell them this is how it's gonna go down. This is where it's gonna be. We gotta be in this house together. We gotta do what we need to do to make sure that we run this house like it's supposed to be, and they do it. Women seem to not have enough order, you know, and it's not just, and they need it for men. They need it for the girls and the boys. So I think it's more order in with the single
in a father-led household.
Yeah, father-led household than a mother-led household.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. I know a lot of fathers that do an amazing job in raising their children. I can think of a couple that are raising daughters too. And man, I'm talking about stepped up, and I mean they doing their thing. I'm seeing them do well scholastically, as productive citizens. Their mannerisms off the charts. Like I'm Uncle Kendall to a lot of these people.
That's pretty cool.
So man, when you look at it and you think about it statistically speaking, I think that she spoke eloquently and she spoke truthfully.
And so we had to look at like different angles. I'm even down to even when you have, and I will add, even though you're a single, and you know you got to order, because that's usually what a man perspective is, but you still have to have that nurturing feminine energy in the house as well. So it has to be a balance. It can't be just all militant at one time. So I will always add that when a man is single and then you're looking, if you're trying to bring in feminine energy in your household, you have to be very, very wise in this decision of who that woman is going to be around your children. So if your mom is not, if their grandmother or aunt or somebody is not available to step up, that feminine energy got to come from somebody. So if she's going to be a stepmom, you have to be very particular on what type of woman, that you will have around, particularly your daughters, because she had to be able to bring in things or say things or nurture or cultivate his daughter in a way that she needs to be, that he can't probably provide. She had to sit down and talk to her about a menstrual cycle, boys, all those things which men know of, but it's nothing like when a woman bring that aspect. So I will always encourage a man to be very wise and particular of what type of woman he chooses to be the stepmother of his children. So if he were to do that, if he can't find that feminine energy from his mother, which would be their grandmother or aunt or some woman that can be somewhat like a female mentor, a good friend or whatever. But I would think that, I would like to add that just in case, even though he's running his household pretty well, but he's still going to need that aspect, embedded in there as well.
Just be straight up with him. Hey, listen, this is who I'm dating. And this is how this is right now. This is not taking the place of your mother. Put that out there. And depending on what the circumstance is, because, what if the mom is deceased or something like that? Yeah. So you reassure them by letting them know that, no, this person is not taking the place of your mother. Because, and then some kids, they get combative with that too. Because they be like, man,
in some relationships, and that's why I say you have to really, really be wise and school them along, and everybody sit down collectively saying that, aspects in this household are going to change because there's another person that's going to be involved. I've seen a lot of drama and pettiness that goes on with women, or stepmoms who trying to deal with the fathers, trying to deal with the father, so it's a lot to it, but being able to handle that and get a grip, it's going to take the man to be, I think it always lies on the man. You have to structure it in a way that it needs to be structured, that everybody be respected, so always respect the stepmother as well. And then you have fathers who have multiple baby mamas as well, or mothers of his children, and being able to collectively bring all those kids together, them children together, to formulate, structure as well, or formulate a balance, or formulate
a family bond.
Right, absolutely. And a lot of times they can get out of hand as well. You have, that's why being a person that's in a polygamy relationship, you have to definitely be, you have to be a person that's really capable of doing that. So that means that you got multiple wives or multiple baby mothers, because I still look at that as polygamy relationship. You're just not married, and you bring in all these, characters, or a person that has, all these people have these different personalities in one household. Everybody got to be able to work together as one. So when you got outside children, that can cause a rift as well because you'll think he loving one family more than the other.
Well, when I'm looking at this,
And
I'm
how do
thinking
you
about
bring balance in that?
when I'm looking at this, thinking about what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
I look at it for a male the same way I look at it for a female. With a male that has multiple children by multiple people,
Mm-hmm.
I think that needs to be taken into consideration before you even get into a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
Because if you accept that, then what's that saying about you? It's sort of like when he said you got too many baby daddies.
Mm-hmm. Same
How
thing.
many women say you got too many baby mamas?
That's right. Because she got to deal with, not only that, she got to say, like, if you got 5 children by 5 different women, you're not dealing with just 5 people, you're dealing with 10 personalities that you got to deal with, you know. And I always say the father set the foundation. And I know some fathers who have multiple children and multiple, you know, mothers, baby mamas, as they say. And for some reason, they seem to have a grip on it. Like, you know, this is just what it is, and we're going to get along, and we're going to collectively come together as one unit for the sake of these children. But what I mean by setting that foundation is that he have to make sure that whoever he is with, that she's going to be respected, you know, no matter what. So the outside women had to understand that, you know, we're not going to deprive him from seeing his children or being with his children because they are no longer together. And I've seen that happen on multiple occasions when they get mad and I want him to see his kids and things like that. So it's just so many aspects, and I'm just putting so much into one, how it can just venture off to different things, you know. So again, when your woman is dealing with a man with multiple children and you have multiple mother of his children, that you have to feel, you got to ask yourself, are you ready to deal with that? And you got to make a decision from that point on. But again, a man has to have a grip and a foundation on that. And I've seen men where, you know, he may not get along with the mothers, but he do have a grip when it comes to all his kids together, you know.
Well, I knew somebody, and I'm not going to say his name. He's deceased now. I'm going to just say C-Dub. And he made sure that anytime he had an event, that all of his children was present at his house,
Right.
no matter who he was with.
Right.
And he said that all of his sons is going to know all of his daughters, and all of them going to be together as a family, and the mamas could come, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And that's how it was. And at his funeral, man, they played Papa Was a Rolling Stone. And I was like, this is the dopest funeral I've ever been at in my life.
Really?
I was like, man, it was off the chain. The dude was just, he was a veteran too. He was a veteran dude too, but he was cold with it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he put it out there the way that it is, and they couldn't do nothing but respect it because it was 100% truthful. I think that in that video that we just showed, that dude was 100% truthful. He was like, man, he was like, nah, I can't do that. He was like, man, I care about you the whole 9, but I'm telling you right now, I cannot do what you talking about because that ain't, man, that's not for me.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, it's fatherhood could be a little, you know, and this is how it wind up being sometimes. Why they get, you know, not as much respect because I think women have a lot to do with the discrepancy in when the relationship doesn't work with the father. It just seemed to get taken out of place, you know, taken out of hand at some point. And so we give it a negative narrative more than anything, you know.
Man, so on Father's Day, if you're getting a big piece of chicken, if you getting treated like you feel like you're supposed to be treated as a father, then, you know, give yourself a pat on the back.
So let's celebrate, you know, also women. You don't have to celebrate the sperm donors as well, because I heard women use that term. Oh, he just was a sperm donor, and that's it.
So,
well, you have to celebrate that because without that sperm donor, as you call it, you wouldn't be celebrating Mother's Day. So, yeah. So how many mothers still get along with the fathers of their children? I mean, you know, you still you didn't get along with the father, but yet you still got to give him mad respect because he's a great father. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen a lot of relationships like that. You know, me and him may not work in a relationship, our marriage didn't work, but I can't take away from him being such a great father. You know, and can you still be like, and that should be really helpful to still maintain a level of respect for one another. You know, to say that, you know, we didn't get along, but you know, he's a great dad, and I'm not going to take that away from him. And so a lot of women, if you know, they don't seem to, well, we can't be together. You know, I can't be with, you know, he can't be with his kids. You can't do that. You know, allow him to be the father that he want to be and that he is.
Well, I think
so
the
celebrate
system
those
has
sperm
allowed-
donors. As you call it, as they call it.
I think the system has allowed women to do that. It's giving the system is giving women this power over the guy to where using the child as a pawn has created this rift, and for some reason it's always been in favor of the woman. But it looks like the tides are turning now, because I'm seeing more fathers that are doing their thing. Again, we talk about that. We talk about that statistic about the 51.4% of black men who are single and don't have children. So when people say that there aren't any available men, that's just a cold-blooded lie. The fact is, what are your choices? What are you looking for? Because it looks like people get so used to dealing with what they've been dating that they overlook all of these good guys, and then they go jumping into whatever it is, because it said that 20% of black men are fathering the majority of these children. 20% fathering this vast majority. So that means that multiple women are having multiple children by the same dude. And that, you know, maybe it's celebrated, maybe it's not. But I'm thinking, if we have anybody that would like to call in and share their experiences as a father, be it a single father, be in a relationship, the whole nine, or if you just like to say Happy Father's Day to your father, you can call us at 708-844-8429.
Come on,
that number again is 708-844-8429. Yeah, I think that just thinking about it, I'm like, man, there's so many elements to this, it's ridiculous. But you know, we got this whole other segment of the show that we got to do on Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow, June 19th, is Juneteenth. A lot of people didn't know anything about Juneteenth to start until we did that first Juneteenth show. That was back in 2019.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
And it was off the chain because we actually went out to Garfield Park, and I got a chance to perform with my boy Daryl Cook. And man, that was off the chain. And then, you know, your uncle Ricky Brown, he had the petition going around to make Juneteenth a state holiday.
Right.
And we messed around and got it as a national holiday.
Isn't that something?
But think about it. Look how long it took.
Yeah. From what,
1865. From 1865 to 2021. That is like, that's bananas to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
1865 to 1965. Then, damn, we talking about going towards 200 years, 160 years of nothing.
Right.
You know, we look at Juneteenth as our Black Independence Day.
I wonder what happened if would it became a national holiday if Trump never mentioned anything about it. Remember you mentioned that?
I have no idea, and that's a great point because
they say he
man,
mentioned it.
people
like,
throw mud at that dude all the time.
It was like he said it wouldn't even be famous. It became famous until I said it. I'm like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And the next thing I know, man, it became a national holiday. I was like, that's interesting to me. I was like, whoa. He trying to get some credit for something else.
Hey, well, I mean, if he said it and then all of a sudden it happened, then, you know, give credit where credit is due. I'm not on either side of the fence with this one. I'm just saying I'm glad it became a national holiday. There are some who feel some kind of way about it because they feel like, why are we celebrating this like it's, this.
What about the lady that's from Texas who finally, she's been going with this petition for a while, and finally she's in the Capitol building of Texas.
Oh, the grandmother of Juneteenth, yes.
Opal was her name?
Opal Lee, I think.
Yeah,
I think
Opal
that's her
Lee.
name, Opal Lee.
Yeah.
Let me see. Well, if you want to, we can jump right into that. I don't hear the phone ringing, so we can go into our Juneteenth thing. So you want to start off with the clip from Opal Lee? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, people. We're in the Juneteenth segment of our show, and we're going to hit you with what is known as the grandmother of Juneteenth. This was a person that started her journey when she was 89 to make Juneteenth a national holiday. She is now 96 years of age. So check this out. I just did that wrong. Let me move this real quick. Sorry, people. Go here. Do this. Now we good. Let's see. Where you at, Miss Opal Lee?
The U.S. is gearing up to mark Juneteenth this Sunday, and this, of course, comes after President Biden made June 19th a federal holiday last year. But there's one woman who made it her mission to see the job through. Nicole Killian traveled to Fort Worth, Texas, to talk with 95-year-old Opal Lee, who many consider the grandmother of Juneteenth.
At 95 years young,
Put it that way.
Opal Lee shows no signs of slowing down. Her life story has become legendary for her unwavering mission as the grandmother of Juneteenth.
At what point did you decide that you wanted Juneteenth to be a national holiday?
I felt like I hadn't done enough. I was 89 years old when I got to thinking about it. I just decided.
So it wasn't until then, it wasn't until 89?
No. I was old as dirt. I decided that maybe if a little old lady, 89 years old, in tennis shoes, walking from Fort Worth to Washington, somebody would pay attention.
And they did when she started Opal's Walk, trekking 2.5 miles at a time. For the 2.5 years it took for General Gordon Granger to arrive in Texas and inform enslaved black people of their freedom after the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865. She delivered 1.5 million signatures to Congress, clinching victory when legislation passed last year.
The bill is passed.
It was signed by President Biden at the White House, establishing Juneteenth National Independence Day.
What do you think of when you look at that pen?
That it has done so much for freedom.
Long before the former school teacher and mother of 4 launched a national campaign, her recognition of Juneteenth came at an early age.
When I was a little one and we lived in Marshall, Texas, we'd go to the fairground. There'd be games and food and food and food. I'm here to tell you, it was like Christmas.
But June 19th wasn't always a celebratory occasion. In 1939, when Opal was 12 years old, her family moved to a home at this corner in Fort Worth that was torched by a white mob.
The paper says there were some 500 folk who gathered They drug the furniture out and burned it. Burned the house too. My parents never, ever talked to us about it. Not ever.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. They accepted what had happened.
Acceptance, but for her mother, not defeat.
After that house was destroyed, she worked untiringly till she got another one. I say that maybe I got my tenacity from her. I've got a long way to go.
That tenacity is now driving Opal to erect a new national museum on her own land, dedicated to telling the story of Juneteenth.
People think it's a black thing when it's not. It's not a Texas thing. It's not that. Juneteenth means freedom, and I mean for everybody.
For those who come after you, what do you want them to know when they hear the name Opal Lee?
I want them to know that the little old lady dreamed, and they can dream too, and that dreams can come to fruition.
In Fort Worth, Texas, Nicole Killian, CBS News.
Yeah. So yeah, so many petitions that were put out. So this one was huge coming from that particular state.
Well, she got over 1 million signatures that she
something?
took to Washington.
Wow.
Walked 2.5 miles at a time.
At her age,
To go from Fort Worth to D.C.
Wow.
That is cold-blooded. So that kind of reminded me of that whole Forrest Gump thing. But I'm like, but she did it smart. I mean, to start at 89 years old and do that, that was off the chain.
Yeah, right. To start it, she was like, oh no. So to see that happen is amazing.
Man, we had, this whole Juneteenth thing. It's nice. It's real nice. It's good to learn about this. My thing is, why didn't we learn about this in high school?
Absolutely.
I didn't learn anything about Juneteenth until we was doing that show in 2019 when we did the thing at Jimmy and your mom's house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, and he came with so much knowledge on that. It was ridiculous. But Texas, that's a big part of that.
We going to the cartoon?
Yeah, we're gonna follow that one up with another short clip about Juneteenth and what is Juneteenth for those that don't know.
And this one.
One day, while hiding in the kitchen, Charlotte Brooks overheard a life-changing secret. At the age of 17, she'd been separated from her family and taken to William Nealon's Texas plantation. There, she was made to do housework at the violent whims of her enslavers. On that fateful day, she learned that slavery had recently been abolished, but Nealon conspired to keep this a secret from those he enslaved. Hearing this, Brooks stepped out of her hiding spot, proclaimed her freedom, spread the news throughout the plantation, and ran. That night, she returned for her daughter, Tempe. And before Nealon's spiteful bullets could find them, they were gone for good. For more than 2 centuries, slavery defined what would become the United States, from its past as the 13 British colonies to its growth as an independent country. Slavery fueled its cotton industry and made it a leading economic power. 10 of the first 12 presidents enslaved people. And when U.S. chattel slavery finally ended, it was a long and uneven process. Enslaved people resisted from the beginning by escaping, breaking tools, staging rebellions, and more. During the American Revolution, Vermont and Massachusetts abolished slavery, while several states took steps towards gradual abolition. In 1808, federal law banned the import of enslaved African people, but it allowed the slave trade to continue domestically. Approximately 4 million people were enslaved in the U.S. when Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Lincoln opposed slavery, and though he had no plans to outlaw it, his election caused panic in southern states, which began withdrawing from the Union. They vowed to uphold slavery and formed the Confederacy, triggering the start of the American Civil War. A year into the conflict, Lincoln abolished slavery in Washington, D.C., legally freeing more than 3,000 people. And 5 months later, he announced the Emancipation Proclamation. It promised freedom to the 3.5 million people enslaved in Confederate states. But it would only be fulfilled if the rebelling states didn't rejoin the Union by January 1st, 1863. And it bore no mention of the roughly 500,000 people in bondage in the border states of Delaware, Maryland, Kentucky, and Missouri that hadn't seceded. When the Confederacy refused to surrender, Union soldiers began announcing emancipation. But many southern areas remained under Confederate control, making it impossible to actually implement abolition throughout the South. The war raged on for 2 more years, and on January 31st, 1865, Congress passed the 13th Amendment. It promised to end slavery throughout the U.S., except as punishment for a crime. But to go into effect, 27 states would have to ratify it first. Meanwhile, the Civil War virtually ended with the surrender of Confederate General Robert E. Lee on April 9, 1865. But although slavery was technically illegal in all southern states, it still persisted in the last bastions of the Confederacy. There, enslavers like Neyland continued to evade abolition until forced. This was also the case when Union General Gordon Granger marched his troops into Galveston, Texas on June 19th and announced that all enslaved people there were officially free and had been for more than 2 years. Still, at this point, people remained legally enslaved in the border states. It wasn't until more than 5 months later, on December 6, 1865, that the 13th Amendment was finally ratified. This formally ended chattel slavery in the U.S. Because official emancipation was a staggered process, people in different places commemorated it on different dates. Those in Galveston, Texas, began celebrating Juneteenth, a combination of June and 19th, on the very first anniversary of General Granger's announcement. Over time, smaller Juneteenth gatherings gave way to large parades, and the tradition eventually became the most widespread of emancipation celebrations. But while chattel slavery had officially ended, racial inequality, oppression, and terror had not. Celebrating emancipation was itself an act of continued resistance, and it wasn't until 2021 that Juneteenth became a federal holiday. Today, Juneteenth holds profound significance as a celebration of the demise of slavery, the righteous pursuit of true freedom for all, and a continued pledge to remember the past and dream the future. People resisted slavery in the U.S. as long as it persisted, uncovered the story of those who escaped slavery, and created a secret society in the Great Dismal Swamp with this video. Or learn about the incredible courage of Harriet Tubman with this video.
All I can say about that clip is wow. This, when you think about that, Juneteenth, and the fact that the slaves were emancipated in 1865, and then it took 2.5 years for those remaining slaves on those plantations to find out that they were free, and it was all because that one woman overheard them. She was 17 years old. She overheard it. She escaped and came back and saved her daughter.
Right.
But before she left, she let people know.
Right.
Man, that's just heavy. But this story gets even deeper.
Wow.
This story gets much deeper.
Yeah. So,
what I wanted to do was go into a clip from the movie Alice.
Okay.
Because Alice is a story that's way worse than that one with Juneteenth, because we're talking about 2.5 years.
Right.
Alice takes place in 1973. Like, I'm watching this movie, and I'm thinking one thing, and then I see something totally different.
Right.
Stream unavailable. Let's see if we can get everything back up. Okay. I wonder if it's saying the stream is unavailable. We're going to see if it pops back.
In our gracious state of Georgia, our God-given land, the Lord has offered us domestic livestock. We have to go.
You must have hit your head real hard. Do you know you're in Georgia? Do you know it's 1973?
Well, I'm gonna need you to fill this out for me. I don't ride.
I can help you. This is knowledge. We spent decades trying to make a change for the people.
I know exactly who I am and where I came from.
Who are you then?
I'm free. How do I look?
Like you.
It's the woman you used to own.
Alice?
You watched us get tormented. It's my turn now. I'm going back.
That's a death certificate.
Doing the right thing is never wrong. I'm not scared, and that should scare you.
You're not gonna leave here in one piece. This tradition was born long before you.
It's all coming down. I am freedom.
Man, that clip there was from the movie Alice. I remember watching that movie. I want to say it was on Netflix. It was either Netflix or Stars, but I think it was Netflix. And when I saw it, man, the movie was mind-blowing.
Wow.
Keke Palmer, man, she played that role to a T.
So maybe go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah. If you get a chance, go back and watch Alice. That is a dope movie. Just remember Keke Palmer and Common. Because you're looking at 1867, you think everybody knows that they're free. But this took place in Georgia. And this is 1973.
Wow.
We're talking about
Ain't that
100 plus years later, they're still holding, they're still plantation, holding slaves on plantations. And for them to have no idea, because you're basically cut off from the world. And it shows in the movie that they even had a telephone at some point. But I guess she didn't know anything about it. And it kept them, they didn't know how to read, they didn't know how to write. They just know that they were being tortured, and the same thing was going on. There's a line in there. 1973. When a truck pulled up and almost ran her over because she had escaped from the plantation and made it to the road. You see this modern truck, and she fainted because he almost hit her. And he's
what was
like,
that? You said it was the coldest thing. You said I didn't tell you had to leave. What was
man, the dude told her when she came back to save the rest of her family, and I really don't want to ruin the movie for nobody, but the line was so cold. I was like, damn. He said, yeah, I didn't tell you were free, but I never told you couldn't leave.
Wow.
So that goes back to Stockholm syndrome.
Yes,
Say
I was about to say that. Yeah.
If you chain somebody up in the yard for so long,
yeah, that's the first thing came to my mind.
that their mind will stay chained.
That's right. And
So
it's pretty
you got-
much almost like current,
Yeah.
current attitude,
You
current
got
mindset,
people in the hood that never leave the hood because they got Stockholm syndrome, for lack of a
That
better
cognitive
term.
dissonance is something else, I'm telling you, and it's pretty much how it's pretty much going right now today. So we definitely have to be in the know about a lot of things and seek it. Seek it much as possible. Knowledge, I'm saying, we perish by lack of knowledge because you have to seek it.
Well,
And they say if you want to hide anything from anyone, you got to put it in books because they won't read it. And, we just have to change, our mindsets and be willing and want to be in the know of what's going on.
Well, when you say, like what you just said, wanting to be in the know, you first of all have to know that something exists in order to seek it. And that's another reason for the platform.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing things to light that people may not have known anything about.
Mm-hmm.
I have relatives that I told about not only Juneteenth, but Black Wall Street.
Right. A lot of people didn't know about Black
And
Wall
they're
Street.
seniors.
Yeah.
And you had many Black Wall Streets. It wasn't just one, Oklahoma.
right.
They had them all over the country.
Yeah, they had in Atlanta. They had a lot of yeah.
But they were being destroyed systematically all over the place.
Yep.
Like that was the first real terrorist attack on American soil in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. That's where that song come to get, man. You dropped that bomb.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So I mean, and you have to listen to a lot of different takes and just form your own analysis, about certain things. You got to weigh the good and the bad. You got to balance, what you want to know about. Even now, with Judge Earl Brown has his take on Juneteenth. Look that up. Listen to his perspective, his opinion about it, and just weigh your view. On how you want to celebrate it. We had to give you both sides. We just can't give you just one side. You got to get both sides. You got to hear both ends in order to make your own, analysis on how you want to celebrate it. But it's good to be in the know. We gave you different forms of about Juneteenth. You got something you can sit down and watch your kids with, cartoon. It's different ways. But we have to be the one to sit down with them because we're not learning about any of these things in our school system, which is, mind-boggling. But hey, somebody got to do it, and you as a parent have to be the one to do it. So again, we want to say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
Yes, Happy
And,
Father's Day. Give me my chicken.
It's amazing how it, all of them fall together. It's like a 3-day holiday again. You got the Father's Day celebrating, and then you have Juneteenth right after that. So it's like a little long weekend for everybody, and it's good that you be able to get this day off with pay, so I guess it has some good,
Yeah, is that I'm pretty sure it'd be a bank holiday. I'm trying to think. There are some businesses that don't recognize it that will probably make you take personal time, things of that nature, make you use a vacation day. But at the end of the day, it's like when who was it? Jimmy. Like when Jimmy was telling us, he said that a lot of people that worked, they would forego their July 4th holiday to take off June 19th and tell them that they would work on the 4th because it was that important to them, especially living in Texas. But I wonder how many of them knew about that story of what was going on in Georgia.
Right.
Because that's heavy, man. That's an extra 100 and what? Let me see. 1865 to 1973. Damn, that's 108 years.
Right. That's a long time. While everybody else free doing anything, that's almost 100 years behind.
Yeah, so that could be 2 to 3 generations of family members based on the way that they were being treated. Because a lot of them Once they got to a certain age, they would kill them off because they got new offspring that were, you know, rapes from masters, the whole nine.
Yeah, so you can see why it can be, you know, I guess it has its pros and cons to it, you know. And I don't know. Everybody had pros and cons to it, so, you know, but just make sure the celebration is of good, positive, you know, reasons, more so than why is celebrated, you know. Do we want to celebrate it in the mass of because you wasn't known to be free, or do you want to celebrate it as freedom, as you say? Because how could that be different from the proclamation? That's like two separate types. It's like two types of freedoms, right?
Well, yeah. When you're thinking about it,
that's how we be doing. We be mind boggling.
Yeah.
We just be going back and forth conversations, and that's how we.
Yeah, I mean that's how all the show ideas formulate to begin with. They start from a phone conversation. So, yeah, when you're thinking about it, man, it's a lot to absorb. It's a lot to to take from this conversation or this broadcast and then disseminate it. I think it's so informative. It's something you can sit down and run by your children. Because then your children can go to school and be like, why y'all never taught, why don't y'all teach us about this?
Right.
Because we have a history in this country, and why is it never spoken about? Because they have a lot of legislation within Congress right now that's trying to eliminate black history.
Yeah. Yep. They definitely are doing that.
But it's not just black history. It's just history, period. History or his story.
Yeah, that's right. And they started, what we was talking about, they started in Montana. What the hell?
Oh, hold on a second. Gotta brainstorm.
That was the first to actually it's not letting it happen. We gotta go back to that, but I'm thinking it has something to do with what we're talking about now.
Oh yeah, we're gonna leave that alone right now. That's one of them things. That's one of them subject matters that got the plug pulled on us.
Man. I mean, we be having so much. It's just crazy, you know. But so again, this is Father's Day, and we want to recognize the fathers in a good light.
Exactly.
And we wanted to change the narrative that's out there.
Get
we
the big
know
piece
that
of chicken.
It's always negative, and it don't really have to be. And we got to stop allowing it to be. Father's just important, So what about, do studs celebrate Father's Day?
Oh, boy. Studs got 2 X chromosomes. I'm sorry. With 2 X chromosomes, you don't get to be dad.
Yeah.
Because a stud cannot impregnate a woman.
Yeah, you can't. No.
Now, at the end of the day, if you can't impregnate a woman to have a baby, then you are not a father. You are not the father. Just like Maury Povich used to say. Just like that.
So
man.
they don't get to celebrate Father's Day.
Well, they get to celebrate what they want, but I mean, it's not being recognized by me because I'm a man.
No, okay. Well,
I'm like, that's some BS. I call BS on that one.
No, okay. So
Father's Day. Killing me.
I want to post a picture right quick of my dad and my mom and us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all got the little family photo going on.
Yeah, I gotta.
Y'all can get a load of Tina.
Just try to give y'all a little something.
Here we go. I think that's the family picture. Yep, that is the family picture right there. Let's blow it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can see Tina and
right
Wanda, Nita and Jean. Ooh-wee. Family first.
Man, so just a little breakdown history of the reason why I want to use this for Father's Day is because my father, my daddy. See, I had a difference between my daddy. I want to show what's in the background.
Oh, okay.
My daddy and my dad. So we're going to do my dad next. But my daddy, this is my daddy right here. And on this picture, my dad had to be 23 and my mother was 18. 4 children, married. Okay. And I'm quite sure you can tell the look on his face like, oh my God, my life has changed. Like, am I ready for this? And this is when I saw this picture, I keep this picture at all times because it speaks volumes. You know, and my mother was like, yeah, I got 4 kids. We got these kids, and we got to take care of these children, things like that. But most importantly, you know, they were young, and were they ready for this? And then by them being young and had to get married young, they had to go to a whole other state in order to get married because it was illegal here, so they had to go to another state and get married. But the most important thing about this right here is my aunties. My aunties were straight gangsters. Like you hear this, you know, shotgun weddings and shotgun. You got my daughter pregnant, like, you know, you're gonna marry her, and that's it. That's all. But in this case, my aunties was like the gangsters. You know, it was like, you got this woman pregnant, you're gonna marry her. You know, and they did everything in their power to make sure that he be responsible at that age. He went into the service. He said, you're going to go to the service because that's all because he did graduate from high school. You're going right into the service, the Navy. And he did. And, you know, to try to step up to be a father. But was he ready? You know, he was not ready because he was still trying to find himself, you know. And here, you know, even being with my father, you know, my daddy, you know, it was a lot of aspects to his, you know, him being a responsible father. I think he just wasn't ready. He didn't know enough. And, you know, I never looked at him any other kind of way besides, you know, just trying to do the best that he can with what he knew, but he was not really ready, you know. And this bring out his lifestyle to me, bring out so many aspects when it comes to, you know, I'm gonna talk about some very important key things that hopefully you guys can take from it. Like number one is he had 4 children. So when him and mom divorced and he went on with his life and he started dating other women, the first thing he used to tell them, listen, I got 4 kids. I'm not really in their life when I'm really taking care of them. I don't want any more children. He let it be known, and he let it be known before you even get with me. I have 4 kids I'm not taking care of. I don't want any more children. He stood on that. He didn't have no more children. So who else out there that's really trying to just say, hey, you know, I don't want to have any more children because I'm not taking care of the 4 that we have. We have a lot of men, young men out here that's really careless with, real loose with how they are here procreating, you know, and they think it's just something to do. It's not a thing to do. You want to be responsible, you know. And my father, I remember when I was younger, and this is some things that mothers have to, when you have a father who's just not to be fitting to be a father, and mothers have to make these choices in order for us to see things. We have to let our children see it for itself. So when I was young, you can tell me nothing about my daddy. I want to go stay with my daddy, live with my daddy. My mother was like, okay, cool. You go stay with your daddy, and you just got to see things for yourself. Sometimes we have to put those, you know, depending on the situation, we have to put our children through certain things. So I had to go through that. And I lived with my father, and he was not ready. I got the chance to see that for myself. He was very irresponsible. He left me at home by myself and all that, you know. And my uncle is the one who's another father figure, was like, you need to go back home. And so I called my mom and said, come and get me, because he was not ready. Now, as years went on, I can see my father developing maturity as saying, I need to be a more responsible father, so I need to start doing things differently. Everything changed about him, the way he dressed, everything, his language, everything changed about my dad. You know, my daddy. And at one point, he did try to step up as when we got teenagers to, you know, be different, than what he was. And that planted seeds for me to step up and happen to take care of him, be his caretaker when he got sick. So everything happens for a reason, you know. So we hear these things about, you know, irresponsible fathers. We hear these things about they're not stepping up. We hear these things about, you know, not being responsible. And a lot of times we don't really know that as children until we get in that and actually see it, you know. And so I understood every single thing what my mother had to say. And would I fought him for? No, because I can respect him on a lot of different things. He made sure we knew who he was. He made sure he did what he could. And that's all. And that's what I can take from him. So can I say count he as a bad father? No, I can't. And so a lot of times we discredit some things that a father is able to do, you know. And some people never know who they baby. There are children today are suffering from, they never knew who their baby daddy was, or never knew who their father, they never knew who their father were, never met their fathers, you know, because they stepped completely out of their lives. And I can commend him for that, at least, if nothing else. He made sure we knew his, mother's side of the family, so I can't, we have to take the good and discard, not discard it bad to the point where you want to just forget it, but take it as a learning tool to become a better father. Most best fathers come from single parenting, where it's just a mom, or you had a father who wasn't there. Most best fathers comes out of that situation, and this picture means a lot to me because I can see, where it actually all began for me, and I see that I can respect, in certain aspects of what he was trying to do, but he made some promises. He did things he, was supposed to have done. He did some things that he didn't supposed to do, especially as making promises and didn't keep them. How many fathers out there made promises to their children? I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then you didn't keep that. So now you leaving your kids with this turmoil type of thinking, feeling abandoned and rejected, And so we have to, as fathers, as fathers, you have to understand how valuable you are in children's life, especially by being 3 girls and 1 boy, so we needed that male energy there, so sometimes when a stepfather steps into your life and he steps up to take over a role, it's not a bad thing that when your biological father stepped down, if he see that he can't be the man that he needs to be in your life, it's huge of him to step down and say, I need to allow this man to step up. So a lot of times these biological fathers cause more problems trying to stay in the child life when you're actually causing them more problems. So it's a real big decision. There's nothing wrong with saying I need to step down and let somebody else step up who's going to be the male role model that they need to be. And that from that point is where this man came into our lives young. Yep, that's right, Mr. White, Mr. Marshall White. Met my mother young, and this man stepped up. But the first time I met him, I was like, I was like the big sister and the big brother in my life. Like when I met him, I was like, hey, we need this, and the other. It was almost like I'm putting him to the test to see what type of man he was. I'm young at this age. I'm probably about 8 years old, and he came back with it. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a start. With this mindset. And, so as the years went by and, he bought my mother a house and he put us in a better, environment, and he stepped up. He stepped up. The day that I gave this man the name Dad is the day that when my biological father put to pick us up and he didn't, and he told my biological father in his face, this is the last time that you would do that. You would no longer be able to do that ever. And from that point on, he became the role model. This is a man that taught me how to cook, drive, hunt, camp, launch a boat, even how to act like a lady. Men don't like this and men don't like that, and you can't act like this and you can't be less. Behavior, all of that. And I have to commend that. I want to really salute this man and rest in peace with the both of them, but rest in peace because I've learned a lot from this guy who stepped up. So we have to commend the men that steps up, whether you're a coach, whether you're an uncle, grandfather, whoever you are. You have to get. When we were young, I couldn't stand him when we were young because he was so tough. He was so tough. But as that saying that said, keep living, factual, keep living, and you will find out more and more and more. He was actually an asset in my life, and I'm grateful that some of the things that he poured upon us. So I was fortunate to have my daddy and my dad in my life, and I learned so much. Taught me how to bowl. This man taught me how to bowl. Taught me how to do everything, play instruments, the whole 9 yards. And I'm grateful to that. And I'm grateful that my daddy did eventually stepped up, and this is how I learned about stocks and business and things of that nature in his later years of life. Meaning he got mature. Sometimes men don't get mature till later in life. I believe in second chances. I believe that even if your father didn't step up at that age, he can step up later down your life where he can be just as valuable. So don't count out your biological father.
Well, the age of maturity, according to the Holy Quran, is 40 years old.
Wow.
America teaches you that you're grown at 21.
17. Yeah.
Well, 21 is when you're able to drink.
Right.
You're able to join the military earlier and go out and fight in wars, but you're technically not grown until you reach 21 years of age.
Yeah, so I gotta, and like I said, I'm just fortunate that I was able to see both sides, from a stepfather point of view and from a biological point of view, and I'm so glad I experienced that in my life because, now I can kind of like see I'm very rounded when I listen to people's perspective or opinions about either one, and of course, my stepfather, and he would never liked us to say that. Like when he said I was his daughter, I was his daughter. When he said we was kids, we was kids. Even down to the point that he even said that, if y'all want my last name, y'all gonna have it. He was willing to even go that far. But again, I'm able to look at both perspectives when it comes to that. So even down to even bridging the gap with his children. Bringing us together collectively as one, with his children and with us, and so he just highly respected, and I'm grateful to be able to listen to, when people be talking about their stepfathers or talking about their biological fathers, and I've learned to say, give both a chance, and my mother is a product of being able to set that foundation. Of course, he met her young, but she had an older mindset. And it's one of the things I liked about all of them, that they all differentiated, whether to make sure that the child place and the adult place were set in place. Like they were not, neither three was our friend. They didn't play the friendship role. They were parents. And even with my father, even though he was down to earth and we was able to talk to him about everything, and he was cool, but he still set boundaries when it came to, I'm still your father, but, certain things, I can't allow. Plus my mother probably had him scared. But for the most part, just give big ups to men who's stepping up, regardless of who they are. And give them the respect they deserve. These children today doesn't respect elders in the manner that they should. So I think that we need to look at that differently.
Well, with that being said, it's about time to go out of here. We've been on the air for about an hour and a half. And since it's Father's Day, I think we're going to go out to the tune Man Up. Any objections? All right.
I think it's very befitting.
All right. With that being said, man, I want to wish y'all a happy Father's Day. Juneteenth, that's tomorrow. Man, get it in. If you ain't got it off, take it off anyway. Tell your boss to, tell your boss what it is. It's a national holiday. You shouldn't be, you shouldn't be working no way. Tell them you'll work on the 4th of July for double time and a half. On that note, here's your man DOCILLR featuring DIE with Man Up.
Yes. You can download, right?
That life is hard and he should prepare. Got a game next Friday, you'll be there. But when Friday comes, no time to spare. You spend $4,000 on a set of rims, no less than a C-note, a brand new 10. 3 bills on tickets to your favorite sport. Pay your fam no mind nor child support. Give down what I said to your daughter or son. High interest bearing retirement fund. Spend time with them, homie, and gain their trust. By the time they 30, got $1 million plus. A good man is a great thing, that's the truth. More than words that I spit in a recording booth. Didn't have second thoughts when you laid it down. So when it's time to pay, no need to frown. Some fellas hit a term and they think a gun. Mad moms would equate this to lack of fun. For the clothes, food, daycare, car, no rent, and a promises for time not spent. Get against, I'm a clown you and call you small. For your lack of drug use or the alcohol. Call you soft cause your mind stays tried and true. Tell them sticks and stones to do what you do.
If you are what you say you are, then man up. Stop being a bitch, pull your pants up. Get more involved, be a problem solver. Delegate tasks, stop laying on your word. Thinking you a man, cause shorty gave you some air. Became think past getting some, feeling dumb when shorty asked you a question about your daughter and your son. No income, no skill, no drive, no commitment to nothing. How you expect to provide? When problems pop up, yo, go hide. Not I, I'm a man, I'm a word. When your boy properly served, I'm getting what I deserve. Good food, good dude. 9 to 5, kept your boy from pitching from a curve. Work ethic kept women from getting on my nerve. I'm the captain of the ship, she's just alone for the trip.
Man, others hit a term and they think a gun. Mad moms would equate this to lack of fun. For the clothes, food, daycare, car, no rent, and a promises for time not spent. Then again, some a clown you and call you small. For your lack of drug use or the alcohol. Call you soft cause your mind stays tried and true. Tell them sticks and stones to do what you do.
They tell me, Roderick, I ain't have a father figure. I tell them me neither, got a partner. But at some point I had to dig a little deeper. Made decisions in my life, no booze, no weed. From this day on, this how it's gonna be. I dare a little nigga try to cuss in front of me. I dare a little dude disrespect my OG. I check him where he stand, make him respect the man.
As the mic last 8 is reserved for Doc. First thing on the agenda, take back my block. Young in the hood wanna show their air. Grab a bag, walk the block, pick up some trash. Take pride in the spot that you claim is yours. Hold it down, keep it free of the need